Once upon a time, in the great kingdom of Ajimade, two boys were born on the same night. Aderemi, son of the king, and Dayo, son of a palace servant. The village oracle prophesied that one would be king, and the other would serve him. It was declared that Aderemi, the prince, was destined to rule, while Dayo was meant to be his loyal servant. Aderemi was the only son of the king after having 7 daughters. The king and queen adored him. He was treated specially. While Dayo was the only son of a palace servant, Dayo's mother died giving birth to him, and his father was the only family he had. The two boys grew together in the palace, but were different in many ways. Dayo was proud, reckless, and arrogant. He believed his destiny was secured and never took his training seriously, thinking that fate alone would place him on the throne. His mother, the queen, always supported his actions. Dayo, though just a servant's son, was hardworking, wise, and kind. While Aderemi spent his days in pleasure, Dayo learned the ways of farming, trading, and survival. Things were very difficult for Dayo and his father, who one day became seriously ill. Dayo tried all he could, but still his father died. Few days after his father's death, Dayo left the palace and went into the forest all by himself. He started a new life there and planted so many different crops. One fateful year, tragedy struck. The old king died suddenly, and Aderemi was crowned king. However, just as he took the throne, a terrible famine swept through the land. The kingdom, once rich in food, now had dried rivers, barren lands, and empty storehouses. People starved, animals perished, and sickness spread. As king, Aderemi had no plan. He had never learned how to lead, grow food, or protect his people. Instead of finding solutions, he hoarded the little food remaining for himself and the palace while his people suffered. One day, some hunters of Ajimade went hunting, and they arrived at a huge fruitful farmland, unlike the palace field, which had dried up. They plucked some of the fruits to eat. As they were eating, Dayo came out of his hut with his gun. They begged for their lives, saying, "We are not thieves, we are just hungry. We are not thieves, we are just hungry." Dayo asked them where they came from, and when he heard they were from Ajimade and narrated the condition of the kingdom, he wept. Without hesitation, he led the farmers to his barns, where woven baskets overflow with grains, yams, and ripe fruits. He filled their arms with food, urging them to take as much as they can carry. When the hunters returned to Ajimade, the villagers gathered around them, their faces filled with disbelief as they hear of the land of plenty beyond the forest. Whispers turned to excitement, and soon people began to journey towards Dayo's farmland, seeking the man who now holds the key to their survival. As many people came, Dayo did not hesitate. He opened his barns and began feeding the hungry villagers, sharing his grains, yams, and livestock. News spread across the kingdom. While the king sat in his palace, a stranger was saving the people. As the famine worsened, the elders and chiefs gathered and made a shocking decision.
A king that cannot feed his people is not fit to rule,
they declared. They went to Dayo and pleaded with him to be their king. The people rose against Aderemi, storming the palace and forcing him to step down. They turned to Dayo, the man who had saved them, and the oracle spoke once again.
Destiny is not given, it is earned. He who feeds the people shall rule the people.
Aderemi, filled with rage and disbelief, pleaded for another chance, but it was too late. He had wasted his opportunity. Instead of being king, he was made a servant in the palace, given the same fate that was once meant for Dayo. Aderemi and his mother were sent out of the palace with nothing. With the blessings of the gods, Dayo was crowned the new king. And under his rule, the land was restored. Though Aderemi struggled to accept his fate, he eventually learned that destiny is not just about birthright. It is about the choices one makes. A man is not a king because he was born to rule. He is a king because he serves his people. His story became a lesson for generations. A man who does not prepare for his destiny will watch it slip from his hands.